E aí, rapaziada, beleza? Sejam bem-vindos para mais um vídeo. E hoje o vídeo de hoje, nossa, hoje o vídeo de hoje, que horrível. The Fake Leaked Villains of Avengers Endgame. Os vilões que foram vazados errados em Vingadores Ultimato.
I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
Thanos served as the central villain of the Infinity Saga across various key entries in the MCU. His presence loomed large, with Marvel clearly setting up a grand confrontation with him, gathering the Infinity Stones for some ultimate goal. Eventually, Avengers Infinity War would reveal his true motives, using the gauntlet to eliminate half of all life in the universe. Unlike his more evil comic counterpart, this portrayal added depth and complexity, making Thanos a more compelling figure. With his victory at the end of Infinity War, audiences were left wondering how the Avengers would possibly reverse the devastation in Avengers 4. Thanos would need to return, but the means by which the Avengers would undo his actions remained a mystery for some time. During the lead-up to the sequel, the Russo brothers said something very surprising, that Thanos' story was complete. He had fulfilled his purpose and had no further reason to fight. This was...
Caramba, é verdade. Mano, eu lembro dessa época que os irmãos russos falaram isso. Caraca, eu tava acompanhando os vazamentos e eu fiquei tipo, what the hell? O que vai acontecer então? X-Men versus X-Men no filme. Essas loucuras aí.
Was unexpected given his role as the saga's central villain, but it did make sense. His arc felt finished, and extending it might weaken his narrative. Because of this, some fans started speculating that Endgame would introduce a completely new villain, one that emerged as a result of Thanos' actions. In 2019, a Rocket and Thor action figure surfaced with a description teasing a greater threat that the Avengers would face. This sparked wild speculation about who could top Thanos and the power of the Infinity Stones. One theory pointed to a nihilist being the...
Caraca, eu já trouxe pra vocês que depois de Ultimato viam rumores de que ele seria o próximo grande vilão no lugar do Kang. Mas esse daí de ser em Ultimato já é o vilão, esse daí é novo, hein? Esse daí eu não sabia, não tava preparado não.
Villain of the movie, based on the rumored title Avengers Annihilation. Others thought that...
é verdade, Ultimato não foi o título revelado de primeira. Daí eles pensaram, pô, será que é Avengers Annihilation? Tanto que, se eu vim aqui nos meus arquivos, aqui ó, os vídeos tudo que eu tenho, mas se eu vim aqui nos meus arquivos, a gente vai vir movie covers aqui, cadê? Sabe aquela imagem que saiu dos Vingadores? Acho que era a primeira imagem oficial. Então, eles foram lá e achando que seria Vingadores Aniquilação, já fizeram um pôster disso, sabe? Dá pra ver que é da época de que saiu essa imagem, porque, pô, a armadura do Homem de Ferro Mark 50, a Capitã Marvel ainda de 2019, sem todos os heróis. Então, existia realmente esse rumor. Eu tinha salvo essa imagem mesmo sem assistir o vídeo, só que eu vi que conveio, eu falar isso? Existe isso.
The Skrulls might return, especially since Marvel emphasized that Captain Marvel would be an essential movie to understand Endgame, but some villains stood out more. After the release of Avengers Infinity War, there was a tie-in book released called Thanos Titan Consumed, which is a canon story about Thanos and his past. Many tried to use the book to predict the events of Avengers Endgame, especially who the potential antagonist could be. In the book, we get an explanation on how Thanos found out about the Infinity Stones. He speaks to the lore speaker, who tells Thanos that the Infinity Stones are hidden because they are too powerful and because the Celestials and those they fear keep an eye on them. Now the part that mentions how the Celestials fear a particular group or person is what many fans hyper-focused on. Who would they possibly fear? Well, there was the one above all, of course, or someone like Eternity or the Living Tribunal. However,
nossa, eu lembro dos rumores do Tribunal Vivo, só que do The One Above All, que é Deus na Marvel, né? The One Above All é aquele acima de todos. Na Marvel, Deus é The One Above All. E Eternidade, esses dois eu não tinha visto nada. Eu vi sobre o Tribunal ao vivo só. Eu tô vendo junto com vocês. Mas esse vídeo não faz tanto tempo, não. Há um mês.
And he felt that these comic entities were too powerful to make sense as antagonists. As a result, many landed on the Beyonders being the villains instead. However, most did not take this theory seriously, as the
esse pessoal aí tava chutando pra tudo que é lado. Vai que é certa. E erraram. E erraram ainda.
Beyonders also are much too powerful to have a role in the MCU this early on. Galactus was another villain some felt
Mano, até o
made
Galactus,
sense to be
velho.
the big bad.
Eu lembro do rumor do Galactus, mas até o Galactus.
As since he wields the power cosmic, he would be a greater threat than Thanos. One theory explained how Galactus could make his way into the story. The theory states that Thanos is trying to stop Galactus by making planets undesirable, so Galactus will spare them. This came from the belief that Thanos and his plan made no sense, as he could have just used the gauntlet to double all resources. So this theory was a way some could rationalize what they felt was a piece of nonsensical writing. However, this Galactus theory would quickly fall apart because at the time, Disney had yet to finalize their acquisition of Fox. Adam Warlock was another obvious candidate for the
Adam
next
Warlock, ele é super importante nos quadrinhos, na saga, né, em Guerra Infinita. Só que ele apareceu só depois disso, não sei, mas apareceu em Guardiões 3, então...
Protagonist. In the comics, he played a major part in the original Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Fans thought he'd show up in Infinity War, especially after being teased in
É verdade, ele apareceu pouquinho em Guardiões 2.
the post-credits of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It seemed likely that Warlock might join the fight in Endgame, only to eventually go rogue after acquiring the gauntlet himself. During the production of Avengers Endgame, a rumor circulated that Doctor Strange talks to an entire CGI character in some tense sequence. This led many to speculate on who this CGI character could be. Some felt it was Galactus, others had another idea, the Living Tribunal. I mean, it made sense. He's the balance keeper of the Marvel Universe, and perhaps the snap caused him to appear to intervene with what Thanos had done. Maybe he seeks to destroy the universe or help the Avengers somehow. One supposed plot leak occurred close to the film's release, which states that the Living Tribunal attempts to prevent the Avengers from undoing the snap, as multiple Infinity Stones being in the same universe would bring upon its destruction. Doctor Strange contacts the Living Tribunal to apologize.
Ah, tá, era uma teoria, não era o do filme. Então eu fiquei tipo, ué, como
for
assim?
messing with the timeline and assures them that they'll restore reality after defeating Thanos. Living Tribunal, still upset, uses his power to send the Infinity Stones the heroes had collected back into their original timelines. However, in the leak, Living Tribunal is more of a secondary antagonist than a primary one, as Thanos returns to prevent the Avengers from undoing his plan.
Então é isso aí, rapaziada. Ó, depois vamos assistir esse vídeo aqui. Depois, né? Depois. Ah, calma aí. Então é isso, rapaziada. Esse foi o vídeo de hoje. Ai, caramba, meu ombro. Esse foi o vídeo de hoje. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Dá like, se inscreve. Eu sei que é chato, mas eu peço do mesmo jeito. O link do vídeo que eu reagi e do que mesmo? Ah, é. E do meu canal secundário estão na descrição. Aqui tá a pelota do meu canal. Aqui um vídeo que o YouTube acha que você vai gostar. Valeu, falou, tchau, tchau. Até a próxima. Fui.